Hello everyone, and welcome back to my channel. Today, we are going to watch about the how to date a Gemini. Geminis are curious, versatile, and mentally active. Geminis go everywhere together. Symbolizing their dual nature, Geminis are active and fun to be with. But they have two weaknesses: their ability to talk non-stop and how they distract themselves easily. Don't worry. This article will show you how to date a Gemini. Method 1. Knowing what to do. First is listen to them and engage them in conversation. Being natural chatterboxes, Geminis love to talk. If you don't listen, talk, or if you interrupt often, the Gemini might think you are not interested or don't care. Don't stress yourself out too much about finding something to talk about, however. Gemini are creative enough on their own, and will likely find something to talk about. Geminis are curious and love to learn. If you are an expert on something, don't hesitate to share your knowledge. You'll impress your date. Geminis love to debate. They are not arguing. They are simply trying to see things from a different perspective and sharpen their mind. Geminis are known for being good at communication. If you have an issue in your relationship, don't try to hide it. Instead, try to discuss it. Step 2. Bring something new into the relationship to keep things interesting. Geminis enjoy being active and trying new things. If you find yourself dating a Gemini, be prepared to experience new things. It might be a good idea to bring something new into the relationship as well. For example, if you are going out on a date, try to find some place new to go, dine, drink each time. If your date is really into something, you should not get used to it. He or she might want to try something completely different the next time you meet. Step 3. Be patient when they get moody or indecisive. Sometimes, dating a Gemini can feel like you are dating two different people. This should come as no surprise. Gemini are represented by twins. One moment, a Gemini can be happy and cheerful. And the next moment, he or she can be grumpy and moody. When a Gemini becomes moody, don't take it personally. Be patient, and let the mood swing pass. You can also try talking to him or her, and find out what is wrong. Step 4. Embrace and encourage the Gemini's inner child. Gemini are more in touch with their inner child than other signs. They love to joke around and do pranks. Some of their jokes might be rather juvenile too, but that is part of their charm. Don't try to hold a Gemini back or force him, her to change. Even if you are serious by nature, either join in on their fun, or let them express themselves fully. Finally, be prepared for a social life, but expect some quiet moments too. Geminis are social butterflies by nature, but sometimes they like to stay at home too. Don't get used to them always wanting to party. And don't hold them back if they just want to stay at home and watch movies. If you are introverted or anti-social by nature, be upfront about this. Try to figure out some sort of compromise. An example of a compromise would be going to a smaller party, which would be less stressful to you, but still appeal to the Gemini. Another example of a compromise would be going to a party one weekend, and staying in the next. You can also try to slowly introduce yourself to the Gemini's social circle. For example, you can start off with smaller parties and less crowded situations, and build your way up to larger, wilder events. Method 2. Knowing what to avoid. First is don't force a Gemini to make decisions when he or she becomes indecisive. Duality is a major aspect of Geminis. Because of this, they often find themselves stuck between two choices. One part of them might want one thing, and another part of them might want something completely different. If you find yourself in such a situation, try making a suggestion. For example, if your date can't decide between Italian or sushi for dinner, you could say something like, "Well, we had pasta last week. Why don't we try sushi tonight? That new restaurant down the street looks good." Step 2. Don't ever break a Gemini's trust. A Gemini can eventually forgive you, but he or she will never forget what happened. If you break a Gemini's trust, you may never get it back again. Also, note that Gemini are curious, they love to learn and find things out. If you are hiding something, the Gemini will become suspicious and eventually find out. It would be better to be upfront and honest with him or her. Honesty is very important to a Gemini. He or she will appreciate the truth, even if it is not very nice. Step 3. Don't hold a Gemini back, and don't control him or her. Gemini are very independent. They don't need someone to constantly hold their hand. And they most certainly don't like being controlled. Geminis need space to experience the world on their own. If you try to control a Gemini, you will end up with a very unhappy boyfriend or girlfriend. At the same time, however, remember to offer support if a Gemini asks for it. Step 4. Don't get used to anything a Gemini says, does, or wants. Geminis are known for being full of contradictions. They are also known for being spontaneous and wanting to try new things. Their personalities are also multidimensional. Just because the Gemini you are dating likes the outdoors does not mean that he or she will always want to go hiking. There might be a time when he or she just wants to stay home. When the Gemini you are dating wants to try something different, go through it. Don't try to force the old way upon them. Instead, embrace the change. At the same time, if the Gemini you are dating is suddenly upset or unhappy, it would always be a good idea to ask what is wrong instead of simply accepting it as the new norm. Finally, don't get upset if a Gemini changes his or her mind suddenly and cancels or changes a plan. Being represented by the twins, Geminis have fickle, ever-changing minds. They can change and cancel plans last minute. Do not take this the wrong way. It is likely not personal. Instead, try to accept it as part of the Gemini's ever-changing nature. If this really bothers you, however, talk to the Gemini about it. Do not accuse him or her of always flaking. Instead, explain that you take plans seriously, and that it hurts you when they are suddenly changed. We hope it is useful to you. Please subscribe to our channel.